You're watching Lunchtime News here on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Mariam Gunavijaya. Before we head on to our bulletin, let's take a look at your headlines this afternoon.
The 76th General Assembly of the United Nations begins today. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to address the Assembly tomorrow. Jayantha Katagoda sworn in as a Member of Parliament to the seat left vacant by Ajit Niwad Cabral. Opposition leader questions the truth behind the NMRA data scam. Will the prices of milk powder, wheat flour, gas and cement increase? Turmoil within the government intensifies. 76th United Nations General Assembly.
In your lead story this afternoon, the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly will begin today under the patronage of US President Joe Biden. Now, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa is scheduled to address the UN General Assembly tomorrow.
The theme for the 76th session is building resilience through hope to recover from COVID-19, rebuild sustainably, respond to the needs of the planet, respect the rights of the people, and revitalize the United Nations. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa will also address the 2021 UN Food Systems Summit on Thursday, the 23rd, and the high-level dialogue on energy on Friday, the 24th of September. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who is in New York to attend the UN General Assembly, has also met with Prime Minister of Kuwait, Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Sabah, in Manhattan. The two leaders have said they will further strengthen the bilateral relations between the two states that has existed for half a century. Whilst pointing out that there are many Sri Lankan expatriates working in Kuwait, President Rajapaksa has requested the Prime Minister of Kuwait to create more opportunities for skilled migrant workers.
Jayantha Katagoda was sworn in as a Member of Parliament today. He was appointed to fill the seat left vacant after the resignation of Ajit Niwad Cabral.
අභිනව මන්ත්‍රීවරයන්ගේ නිල ප්‍රතිඥාව ජයන්ත කැටගොඩ මැතිතුමා.
Jayantha Katagoda was appointed to Parliament as a member of the National List representing the Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna during the last general election. He stepped down from his post last July to make way for Basil Rajapaksa to enter Parliament through the National List. Today, Jayantha Katagoda was sworn in as a Member of Parliament again to fill the vacant seat left by Central Bank Governor Ajit Niwad Cabral.
සමාජවාදී ජනතාවගේ ආණ්ඩුක ව්‍යවස්ථාව ආරක්ෂා කොට අනුගමනය කරන බවට ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ දේශීය තුල එකම රජයක් පිහිටීමට කෙලින්ම හෝ අන්‍යාකාරික ශ්‍රී ලංකාව තුලදී හෝ මිනිසුන්ටදී ආධාර දීම අනුබල දීම අනුග්‍රහ දැක්වීම ඉඩ දෙවීම බැහැ දෙවීම හෝ දේශනා කිරීම නොකරන බවට ගෞරව බහුමාන හේතුව ප්‍රකාශ කර තිබෙනවා.
Will prices of milk powder, wheat flour, gas and cement increase? State Minister Lasantha Alagewana says a decision on that will be announced this week after discussions conclude. He also expressed views regarding the matter this morning.
We will have to increase prices to a certain degree with the rise in prices in the global market. We will reach a decision on that this week. We will reach a final decision on the prices of rice, wheat flour, milk powder, gas and cement this week. The State Minister was also questioned on the recent report circulating on the resignation of Tushan Gunawardena from his post of Executive Director of the Consumer Affairs Authority. We have not influenced his decision in any way. He had informed me today that he will be resigning from his position of Executive Director. Any person has the right to resign from their positions. We are veteran politicians. Although mentally ill patients at the psychiatric hospital act erratically, the doctors do not panic. The Minister of Trade was also questioned on the controversy where 56,000 kilograms of garlic that was impounded at the port was illegally sold to a businessman. That is something that has been handed over to the judiciary. I hope to make a statement on that in Parliament. There was massive corruption at Satosa during the tenure of the previous government. The same officials are still attached to Satosa. The loss at Satosa was 20 billion rupees and we had to pay 8 billion rupees to suppliers. They handed over Satosa to us with a loss of 28 billion rupees. The Criminal Investigations Department is conducting a full-scale investigation into the corrupt deals at Satosa. Legal action has been taken against this. When the legal proceedings conclude, we will be able to bring those responsible for this corruption before the law. Minister Bandula Gunawardena and State Minister Lasantha Alagewan expressed these views during the launch of the new Q-Shop store by the Sri Lanka State Trading Corporation at the Fort railway station. Commuters will be able to access an array of essential services at the Q-Shop.
The general public is closely following the rising prices of goods. Amidst all this, the residents of Balangoda are still waiting for the renovation of a road in the area.
This is a rugged Balangoda Bankiyavatta Talagohinna road. It has been in this condition for some time now. Residents allege that they are unable to travel on this road even by foot. Vehicles cannot travel on this road. Even ambulance services refuse to operate along this road. Most of the time, patients die while on the way to the hospital. It has happened twice before. A lorry comes this way so we can purchase the goods, but no one wants to come beyond that, not even a three-wheeler. Despite the city being in sight, the people of Talagohinna have no entry road to their village. They are requesting the authorities to repair this road.
ලංකේවත්ත පාර අපිට ඉස්කෝලේ යන්න විදිහක් නැහැ. වැස්ස දවසට යන්න විදිහක් නැහැ. කින්ද අපිට පාර හදලා දෙන්න කියලා තමයි ඉල්ලන්නේ.
Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna MP Jagat Kumara has levelled allegations against two ministers over the appointment of the OIC of the Padukka police. Gamni Lokuge, one of the ministers the allegations have been made against, expressed his views convening a media briefing today.
I
saw the manner in which Minister Sarath Weerasekara had replied to these allegations very clearly. He cited the reason behind this transfer as well. I only have one thing to say. When some people are given posts, they lose control. I think the same thing has happened to this MP as well. It will take some time for him to recover from this state.
ඉතින් මේ මන්ත්‍රීතුමාටත් මං හිතන්නේ වෙලා තියෙන ඒ රෝගේ තව ටික දවසක් යනකොට ඒ රෝගේ අඩු වෙලා යයි.
මේ ඉරිතලීම නේද?
ආණ්ඩු කරනකොට විවිධ ප්‍රශ්න මතුවෙනවා.
Various issues pop up when you govern a country. There are various people entitled to various opinions. We do not mind the behavior of immature people. When I was first questioned about this matter, I had this answer. This will be my answer to future questions as well. If he wants, he can go before more media outlets and display his buffoonery. We are not against that. Our party is a disciplined party. The leaders of the party will take a decision regarding this soon. I will not commit the same mistake he is making. If there is any problem, he can call the police.
තමන්ගේ මෝඩකම ප්‍රදර්ශනය කරන්න එපායි. ඒක තමයි මන්ත්‍රීවරයා කරන්නේ දැන්.
The Ministry of Health has requested the public to get vaccinated immediately, as the vaccination may be restricted in the future.
In the future, we will not be able to carry out the mobile vaccination program. Instead, we will have to carry out the vaccination drive at a limited number of vaccination centers. We don't know how much time and effort will be required for this. Talks are being held about the possibility of giving a booster shot to those who are fully vaccinated after 1 year. If we are to start administering the booster shot, then we will not have time to spend on administering the first and second doses anymore. Taking into consideration all of these factors, we urge the general public to get vaccinated as soon as possible. State Minister of Production, Supply and Regulation of Pharmaceuticals, Professor Channajai Sumana, inspected several regional hospitals in Gulin Bindanueva yesterday. We face the worst health crisis in the recent past. If we take the past couple of weeks, hundreds of COVID-19 related deaths were reported every day. The situation is slowly becoming better. The critical situation in the country was brought under control before it worsened to the level in India, where people died even on the streets. This was achieved because of the commitment of our medical staff.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa questioned about the data wipe at the NMRA in Parliament today. For more on the story, we're now joined by News First Charlene Benedict. Charlene, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mariam. Now, as our viewers will very well know, in the modern day and age, national security does not simply entail the state ensuring the physical safety of a person. In this day and age, the safety of vital and critical information to the state is of paramount importance to finally ensure the physical safety of the citizens of that state. Now, recently, an incident that should bring grave concern to us all did take place here in Sri Lanka. Vital, critical and sensitive information relating to medicines that the general public use in our country were completely wiped from the database of the NMRA, and this was on the Lanka government cloud, which is supposed to be one of the most secure cyberspace areas right here in Sri Lanka. And of course, these matters were reported to you from News First, and today opposition leader Sajid Premadasa raised questions on this very concerning incident in Parliament.
ජාතික ඖෂධ නියාමන අධිකාරිය සතු අධි සංවේදී දත්තගුණු ලක්ෂ 11කට ආසන්න ප්‍රමාණයක්.
The national security of the nation has been put at risk by attributing the blame for the data wipe of the National Medicines Regulatory Authority to an individual, private company. It is clear that the occurrence of such an incident at a time when there has been much controversy over approval being granted for the import of various vaccines, medicines, gave rise to a serious suspicion. Thereby, the Deputy Solicitor General had said that the data wipe of the NMRA was a result of a conspiracy. Is the government accepting that this was done deliberately by the medicines mafia in the country? Does the minister in charge of this subject unaware of these matters? If not, how did data only at the NMRA go missing like this? At a time like this, isn't the data of all other institutions that use the services of the NMRA and the Lanka government cloud also at risk? If not, what are the steps taken by the government to address this? According to the investigations conducted into this incident, how has the data been wiped from the cloud? Will the reports on the incident submitted by the CERT be tabled in Parliament? Meanwhile, regarding the incident where a group of government MPs making one-sided statements on investigations, is this not an attempt to divert the investigation? What were the steps taken by the ICTA to protect the data of the NMRA? Did the agreement between the NMRA and the company Epic Lanka include express provisions requiring for a backup of the data to be maintained? Were those conditions included based on the advice of the ICTA? Did the ICTA check on whether these conditions had been fulfilled? If not, on what basis was advice given to employ Epic Lanka, a company without a disaster recovery cloud or even the minimum standards for data protection? When such a system breakdown or a data wipe takes place, does the government have a mechanism to restore the Lanka government cloud? If there is none, what is the reason for that? Shouldn't the ICTA, which functions as the advisory body for protecting data of the NMRA, be directly held responsible for this incident that questions the national security of the country? On what basis is the ICTA blaming a private company for this affront to national security as well as the public health safety of this country? As a result of this data being deleted, there is a risk of various companies listed issuing substandard medicine to the market and also selling medicine under various brand names. What steps has the government taken to address this?
කිරීම මෙන්ම එකම ඖෂධයේ විවිධ වෙළඳනාම වලින් ආනයනය කරනු ලබන සමාගම් වලට සිය අභිමතය පරිදි ඉහළ මිල ගණන් වලට ඖෂධ අලෙවි කිරීමේද අවධානමක් පවතින හැයින් එම තත්ත්වය වළක්වා ගැනීම සඳහා රජය ගෙන ඇති ක්‍රියාමාර්ග කවරේද?
The National Medicines Regulatory Authority, which is the institution that is at the center of this entire controversy, is under the State Ministry, headed by Professor Channa Jayasumana. And Professor Channa Jayasumana responded to these questions raised by opposition leader Sajid Premadasa in Parliament today.
ඖෂධ මාෆියාව මෙරට තුල 2015-2019 තුල පෙර කිසි දිනක නොවිරු පරිදි බලවත් විය.
The medicine mafia in this country became extremely strong between 2015 and 2019 due to the situation faced by the medicine mafia of this country. Now, as they cannot operate freely, they could have attacked the data cloud of the NMRA. The truth behind all of this will be revealed through the CID investigations. All advisory services for the eNMRA database was obtained from ICTA. A memorandum on this matter between the NMRA and the ICTA was signed on the 25th of June 2018. The maintenance and formation of this database was handed over to Epic Lanka Private Limited. A 5-year agreement was signed on the 5th of the 3rd month 2018 between the NMRA and Epic Lanka to maintain this database. This agreement was signed by the chairman of the NMRA at the time, Professor Asita De Silva, the CEO and the CEO of Epic Lanka, Sharindra Kalpage. This situation was caused as the company chosen by the NMRA in 2018 did not fulfill their duties and did not maintain a backup for this data.
Although the general public of this country might not have still felt the effects of this concerning incident, sooner or later, in the near future, everyone in Sri Lanka will have to suffer the consequences of this massive data wipe. Of course, News First will continue to keep a close watch on this developing situation, but for now, it's back to the main studios with Mariam Gunavijaya.
Yes, Shala, now allegations are being made against an attempt to import organic fertilizer containing toxic bacteria from China, following toxic bacteria being found in the samples imported from the company that won the tender. Now, Minister of Agriculture Ministernanda Aluthgamage expressed his views today regarding the importation of fertilizer.
The World Health Organization and the Auditor General have expressed their views on the quality of chemical fertilizers imported into the country for over 40 years. Both parties have expressed their views on the damage to health and the environment due to imported chemical fertilizers. But never in history have political parties or environmentalists, university lecturers or farmers expressed their views on chemical fertilizers and its harm to the environment. As soon as the government entered into organic farming, we had to import a certain percentage of organic fertilizer. A conspiracy is being stirred to stop this importation of fertilizer and re-import chemical fertilizer. The importers who imported these chemical fertilizers spend a lot of money to pay these people and express their views through them. Therefore, we as a government say responsibly, we will not import any organic fertilizer that is not suitable for human or animal life. We have the Plant Quarantine Act and we will act in accordance with the law. There is no need to fear. What are they trying to do? What they are trying to do is to stop the organic fertilizer imports and take this country back to the era of chemical fertilizer mafia.
The minister also expressed his views on the paddy price crisis and farmers' protests.
At present, farmers are protesting against the price of paddy. All these protests are being held only in the Polonnaru district. Also, the rice mafia in this country is also in the Polonnaru district. Therefore, a series of protests are being carried out using only farmers in the Polonnaru district. We know who is funding these protests. We also know who is behind this. We have no problem in this regard. We have only set the control price for paddy. Beyond that, we have no problem of purchasing paddy. We have only stated that we cannot buy a kilo of Nadu rice below the price of 55 rupees. So we have not imposed any fine on any mill owner or anyone purchasing too much. It is wrong of the farmers to point fingers at the government.
The protest launched by a group of inmates at the Valikhada prison is still underway. The group of prisoners are staging this protest by climbing atop the roof of the prison complex. The prisons department confirmed that about 10 people are currently staging this protest. The protest was launched last afternoon demanding their sentences be commuted. However, the Department of Prisons said its department is unable to respond positively to the inmates' demands. According to the Prisons Department, the Attorney General's Department and the Ministry of Justice have been informed of their demands. And with that, we bring to a close this edition of Lunchtime News here on TV1. For the News First team, I'm Mariam Gunavijaya. Thank you for watching. A very good day to you and take care.